Hi, Michael here. I've got two things to talk about. Number one, I did an oil painting. So I took one of those Bob Ross oil painting classes, and here it is. I don't like the top, but the bottom looks very fancy. It's very nice. I've got the fancy little trees. There are two different types of making trees. I could do this one pretty well, and then this just sort of looks like messy lines. I was not very good at that one. I like how the water came out pretty well. I, for the life of me, could not do these cliffs, so that sort of involves doing a paint scraper and then moving it down, but whenever I tried doing that, I would just scrape the paint off the painting, and so it looked kind of terrible. But later on, I just did it my own way by doing highlights with other colors. But sort of like halfway through, I sort of stopped listening to what the teacher said and tried doing variations in my own thing, and everything worked out just much better when I was trying to do it my own way than trying to copy the teacher's way. That's my wife sighing because I don't follow directions.
I was also sighing because, like I say, you haven't answered the most important question. Was like, how big was your teacher's afro?
My teacher, she did not have an afro. No.
Then she wasn't an actual Bob Ross. This is why it's she wasn't a true Bob Ross. She wasn't a believer.
She had a Bob Ross Starry shirt though, and she took the certification courses.
It's not enough. She's got to have the afro. Did she talk in a soothing voice? Did you fall asleep halfway through?
She talked about how it would be your psyche is what determines your emotional feelings at the moment, was basically what determined how your painting worked, and that's why the top of my painting was very vivid and full of color. It's because I was in a very angry state of mind, and I was expressing my emotions through the painting. Because actually, I painted too heavy. I was trying to follow the instructions, but then I noticed everybody else, and they just had a little bit of yellow, and then a little bit of red, and my whole thing was yellow, as you can see, like, everywhere, and you could barely tell those are supposed to be clouds. And the other thing I wanted to talk about was a story where I witnessed an actual crime. It sounds more exciting than it is, because I was just walking down the street with the kids at the mall, and somebody just started running down the street, actually in the middle of the street, and I thought, well, that's weird, they're going to get hit by a car. And then several seconds later, somebody just comes chasing after this person. They're jogging. You'd think with a robbery they'd be running as fast as they could, but it's barely jogging. He's basically just jogging to stay at least 5 feet away from the person he robbed. And the person he robbed basically shouts like, "Stop, give it back, I don't want to get them involved." And the guy shouts, "No!" And the person who was robbed was basically on his phone trying to call the police. And they turned a corner and ran out of my line of sight. But
did the Bob Ross instructor come and get them?
No, but I wish...
She wouldn't, because she doesn't have an afro.
Well, it turns out that Bob uses really long tools. Like, he has, like, a 2-inch paintbrush or a really long fan brush and really long scrapers, whereas normal people use smaller ones, but he's really good. So he can get, like, special detailed things on these giant tools, whereas most artists generally tend to use, like smaller brushes, and they'll do two things. They'll get really close and paint like that, or they'll do the stereotypical thing where they hold the brush as far away as possible, and, hold your hand's holding the edge of the brush. That way you have really, really light strokes. But Bob was just really, really good, so he would just have these giant brushes, and he could hold it wherever.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I wish that the woman had just... Not the woman, the man who was robbed had done something like yell, "Stop, thief!" Because the thief ran by me and I had the stroller. I totally would have smashed the stroller into the thief. And then, it would have been a newspaper headline, "Local hero stops thief with stroller." It would have been amazing. So... Those are just two random things I wanted to talk about. I don't have any other things to say, so thank you for watching. Bye.